before we start, I think it's safe to say we can call 11 Jane now. I don't love the name 11 or Elle, so I think we should just go with Jane. I'm gonna go with that. From now on, when I say Jane, I mean 11, because that's what her mom called her. I got a couple minor predictions to make going forward. So I think Will, I feel like he's in love with Mike. I'm just getting that sense that maybe Will is in love with Mike. I don't think Mike's in love with Will, but I do think Mike is in love with Jane, and I think Jane's in love with Mike. And then I think Joyce and Bob are gonna break up, or he's gonna die, and then Hopper and Joyce are gonna get together. I was pretty disappointed this episode because we saw Jonathan and Nancy. They hooked up. I would like to see Nancy and Steve Harrington get back together. Team Stancy all the way. And then lastly, I think it's going to be Max and Lucas. Who is Dustin going to date? I don't know. I'm sorry, Dustin. I've got nobody for you right now. Maybe Dustin could date Will. This is just a crazy prediction I'm going to make, and all of my predictions have pretty much been wrong, so let's just jump right in there. Dustin and Steve Harrington was not a dynamic duo I thought that I would see in this episode or in this show, but I was kind of enjoying it, mostly because I got to see Steve Harrington on the screen, and I really like Steve Harrington. He gave Dustin some of the worst dating advice I've ever heard. Girls actually like attention. I don't know what he was saying. And also, his relationship is not in a good place at all. I mean, his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, they're on a break, whatever they are, she just went off and slept with another dude. Maybe don't listen to Steve Harrington at the moment, but gross. That skin, that slimy skin that they showed on the bat, nasty. I could have gone without that. Why do the demi-dudes only appear at nighttime? Why can't they appear during the day? And last season, these demi-dudes could just, appear and disappear through the wall at will. So why can't they do that now? Speaking of the Upside Down, oh my goodness, that has grown exponentially. There is just this disgusting slime everywhere. The gooey black stuff that I don't enjoy. It's everywhere, and it's all over the town. I remember saying I think it's growing, and it is. It's everywhere. Last season it was just like this little hole in the wall, and now it's the entire underground. Bob, what is going on with Bob? He knows everything, and he is so chill about it. And then Will said, I don't know who he is, and he was still just kind of like, haha, it's me, Bob. Him forgetting Bob, that was whatever, but him forgetting Hopper? Not okay. Bob is just so chill, and I don't understand why he's so chill, because this is all very intense. I mean, Joyce has some of the greatest acting I've seen. She is just an excellent actress. And that experiment where they were burning Will from that little that little arm thing, you know what I'm talking about. I'm not even talking about it. It's gonna gross me out, made me dry heave. We can't do that. This whole thing is like a parasite, and it's just taking over Will, and it's taking over the town, and it's just come on. Leave. I don't even know what the town is called, but leave it alone. At one point, let me read you the quote. One of these doctor guys, he said, "Let's see if this kid's a wizard or a schizo, doc." Well, that's a callback, because remember in season 1, when Jane, previously known as 11 during these times, flipped that board upside down and then had a wizard sitting there, and she was like, Will. Because it turns out he is a wizard. Kind of. Actually, he's just being controlled by something, and I don't know what. Anyways, I think that was a callback. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm digging way too deep, and that's okay, because that's what these shows are for. My heart broke when Hopper was talking to Jane, and she wasn't there. That hurt. And where did all of these little demi-dudes come from? We saw one of them, so where did the rest come from? How do you kill a demi-dude? Is it just Jane? She's the only one who can do it? Because that seems like a little tough. Is Will ever going to come back, or is he always going to have this thing controlling him? We have established that Max and Billy are step-siblings. Just FYI. I was confused. I just want to clear the air for everybody. Lastly, I feel like they're going to release this information about the Institute and all the crap that's going on in the Department of Energy, and I think that instead of people being like, run for your life, I think it's going to become a game. And they're all going to be like, who can kill the most demi-dudes? It's going to become like a hobby for people to come to this town and try and kill them. But we will see. Great episode, though. I really enjoyed this episode. A lot happened. I didn't enjoy the slime, but I enjoyed everything else. This episode sucked with a capital S. I will give it a 1 out of 10. The only reason that I will give it a 1 out of 10 is because we got Jane listening to Hopper say that he wants her to come back, and her finding out that her friends are in danger. Genuinely the dumbest episode ever. What it looked like at least, is they were like, oh, this show's taking off, let's make a spin-off. I understand why they did the episode. It gave Jane purpose, but holy smokes, I have never been more bored in an episode in my entire life. I've never cared less. For people who like this episode, that's okay. You can have your opinion. I did not. I'm just worried that they're going to introduce us to 1 through 7 and then 9 and 10 as well. And if they were anything like 8, Callie, oh my gosh, we are in for a run, because that was just awful. She's got a cool power, being able to make people see things, but why can't she use it for good? I just knew she was going to be a criminal. She was going to want Jane to do crime with her, and it was just like, it was just stupid, guys. It was stupid. I'm not here to watch some stupid revenge tour because some guys tortured them. I'm here to watch this small town that I still don't know what the name of it is. I'm here to watch Steve and Nancy fall back in love. I'm here to watch Joyce and Hopper fall in love. And I'm here to watch Will finally be Will again. Jane needs to get her butt back to the town, which she's doing. Speaking of, if I was on a bus and I had a seat by myself and this lady had a seat by herself and she asked to move, I'd be like, girl, stay in your lane. I don't want to sit beside you right now. Okay, I'm focused on going to save my friends. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, please. That would be me. Jane was very kind. And also, if she gets mad at people, she can just, like, literally move them with her mind. So maybe that's a factor. I personally can't do that. So just a pro tip, if you ever see me on a bus and we both have an open seat, just don't move to it, please. I like my personal space from strangers. But that, again, that's just me. I have nothing else to say. I truthfully have nothing else to say. I didn't even write notes because I was like, what a dumb episode. So, yeah. Okay, we are back, baby. I went and watched that episode. I came back and I was like, yes, this is what I was waiting for. First off, picked up right where we left off. I think we've discussed this before. I'm a big fan. Now, what we need to give credit to is Michael. He is brilliant. He is very smart. And he knows his best friend just so well. Friendship goals. Let's take a moment. Let's talk about Bob. For starters, Bob was still way too chill for everything that was going on. And I remember saying it, I said, I think Bob's gonna come in clutch or he's gonna die. And spoiler alert, he did both. But the way they killed him, jaw on the floor. The hope in Joyce's eyes, the hope in Bob's eyes, and then BAM! Demi-dude out of nowhere. Where did it even come from? I don't know, but Bob is a goner. Rip Bob. Now, let's not forget that Bob also is the reason that the scary monster is even in Will. Because Bob said, when I have something scary, I go right to it in my dreams. And I know he didn't understand what he was doing, but that's exactly what Will did, and look where we are. However, we do have the door opening for Joyce and Hopper now. Bob's out of the way. Joyce and Hopper, it's your time to shine. Let's talk about the whole Max and Dustin and Lucas love triangle. We got a lot of love triangles going on. When they were walking, and Max was like, guys, why are you going toward the sound? Yeah, great question, Max. Actually, that's usually how people die, is when they go towards the scary thing. So, I'm with you on that one, Max. The problem is she proceeded to follow. So, that would be the first issue. Max, just because they're going doesn't mean you have to. Don't be a follower. Be a leader. I think even that doctor came in clutch this episode, and I don't know. We don't know if he's dead or alive, so maybe he's going to still be alive. But I do know he came in clutch. And Brenner would have never done that. So, shout out to this doctor for being a homie. Stancy moment in the shed. Please come back to us, Stancy. We are Team Stancy. None of us like Jonathan. Nobody likes Jonathan. If you like Jonathan, I have no words for you. Except hashtag Team Stancy. There's no reason for Mike to be as cold as he's being to Max. Just because Jane isn't there doesn't mean he gets to be a jerk to any other girl that comes around. He's got some power-hungry issues. That's what I think about Mike. But he is still brilliant. I see why he's the leader. I think the irony of bringing Will back to where it all began was fantastic. The shed, that's where he got taken in the first place. That's where they did the interrogation. I don't know what the running joke is with the phone at this point. Like, it's gotta be a writer's joke. There's no way it's not, because what, they're at 4 phones now for Joyce or something like that? 3 or 4? And what is the solution to just rip it off the wall? Like, cut the cords. Also, at the end, when they were all standing there and they're facing the windows and the door, and Joyce says, "Where are they?" Like, Joyce, everybody is standing in the same spot as you. They don't know. There is such thing as a stupid question, and that was it. But no, Jane is back. She is back and ready to kill these little demi-dudes, save Will, save the town, and be one big, happy freaking family. And it brings me joy to know that. I'm really happy she's back. I'm glad we don't have to deal with that crap from the last episode. And also, her and Mike were sharing these loving, longing stares, and Steve Harrington was just in the back of the shot, interrupting it. I would much rather stare at Steve Harrington, but he did briefly ruin the moment. I gotta be so for real. Guys, I don't know what's going on anymore with Will. Like, what even is happening? Nobody really knows. I don't know. I'm confused. And what I'm gonna do actually is watch the episode right now. I will be right back. You know what? I am pleasantly surprised with the way that this episode ended. I thought I was going to be all mad and fired up and they were going to do something stupid, and then I would just be sitting here and be like, now I'm frustrated again. No, this was really wholesome, the way they wrapped this up. It was just so cute. Let's start from the beginning, though. The Mike and Jane thing going on, super cute. 353 days apart. If I am like 3 days apart from my friends, I get sad. And so for them to be 353 days apart is wild. And they're in love. So that's like a step even further. I mean, I get that they're like 12, so maybe it's not true love, but they're soulmates. And Mike was justifiably mad. But more importantly, the Jane and Joyce hug that took place, it was a motherly embrace. And I'm so here for it. I don't know why they let the blood from her nose just drip for so long, though. Like, just wipe that up. Billy got the crap beaten out of him for 4 seconds. Then the tables turned, and suddenly Billy was beating the living turd out of Steve Harrington. I am really happy with Max. She might be my favorite character in this show, aside from Steve Harrington and Hopper. She's got a little spunk to her, and I quite enjoy it. And I like the way she stood up to Billy, who, by the way, had quite the moves on Nancy and Mike's mom. Mrs. Wheeler. Keep it together, lady. At the end of this episode, Steve is just so in love with Nancy. And I just want Nancy to be so in love with Steve. Hopper stopping Jane and Mike from kissing was such a dad move. Like, they were about to kiss, he said, "Come on, we don't have time for this." I'm like, real. And then when they were in the car, and he's like, "A nice man in a truck drove you to your mama's." Yeah, I would be skeptical too. But also remember, she has brain powers, and so she can protect herself pretty much in any scenario. It was a good conversation they had, and I think it really brought them together. The doctor. Dr. Owens. I really like Dr. Owens. I don't know if we're going to get to see him again, but I really like him, and I'm glad he survived. Dustin freaking out over that thing that into his mouth. Real. So real. This guy, I think Dustin is in this show for comedic relief at this point. I don't know if they want us to, like, grow towards his character, but I think he's just here so that we can smile during all of the craziness that's happening on screen. Maybe dousing those veins in kerosene first would have been a better idea, because then they would burn longer. That's just me. I'm not a part of the show. I don't know how easy it is to get kerosene, so I can't really comment too much. At no point did I think Dart was going to come back and be the key to them getting out. Full circle moment for Dustin feeding that little gross demi-dude. At no point was I a fan of Dart, I don't think, because he was gross looking and slimy. And it's like they wanted us to feel bad when Dart was laying there dead. I did not. At all. I was happy to see that all of those little demi-dudes were gone. And I don't think I like Will that much, but I will say I'm happy that he is back. And what the dang heck was staring at them through that gate? Was that the scary shadow thingy? It was huge. Shout out to Hop, he was protecting Jane like there was no tomorrow. The aim was just impeccable. And the ending was just so good. I think we should just ended the show because Jane got to go to her snowball and she danced with Mike and then they kissed. It was so cute. And then everybody danced to Time After Time by Cyndi Lauper. I don't know who is on the soundtrack for the show, but you are killing it. Hopper and Joyce had a moment outside the school and then Will got to dance with somebody and even Nancy jumped in and danced with Dustin and all of it was just so incredible. But do you know what wasn't incredible? Who was Steve Harrington dancing with? Nobody. Justice for Steve Harrington, please. Who did get justice is Barbara. I don't care that she got justice, but I guess if that's what floats their boats. Just remember how Barbara died, though. Underage drinking. Don't do it. Let's just jump straight into discussion at this point. Okay, so I do have a couple thoughts on this whole season, everything that happened. Number one, Maxima, what's her name? Max. I am a huge fan of Max. I really like her. I don't know where they're going to go with her character, but the thing is, I think her and Lucas are so cute. And I'm like Nancy, Steve Harrington endgame, but I'm also kind of Max and Lucas endgame. I love that we're seeing Steve Harrington just be like this mentor big brother to Dustin. I think that's so cute. I really love it. I love Steve Harrington. I also love Nancy. There are 3 fan clubs that I am personally the leader of. The first one, Max. The second one, Nancy. The third one, obviously, Steve Harrington. This was truthfully the most wholesome wrap-up to a season I've ever seen. And if we just cut that end scene where it flips to the upside down and shows the scary shadow figure, I think we'd be fine. I would be happy if the show just ended right there. I don't think it's going to, because I hear there's 5 seasons. There's a couple things that I'm still not clear on. How you kill one of the demi-dudes. The bullets seem to be doing it, but bullets in the first season weren't doing it, so I don't think I fully understand all of that. I wonder if maybe a blowtorch would have been a better option, if they just used a blowtorch, or grenades, maybe. A grenade into its mouth would be wild. Actually, I still don't understand why Will was chosen in the first place for all of this. Wrong place, wrong time, or is there more to it? Does he now have, like, special powers that we don't know about because he's spent so much time in the Upside Down? How does that work? And you can't tell me everybody's like, no, this is like a science fiction kind of thing. And I just think it's taking a darker turn than that. This thing was inside Will and controlling him. And I think this is just becoming like hell on earth. That's what it seems like. And I could be wrong. Maybe it's just science fiction. I'm going to keep watching and see what happens. But that's just my takeaways from it. I think we all want Steve Harrington and Nancy back together. This whole Jonathan side quest she's on, come on, Nancy. Be better. And I think Steve Harrington is going to prove himself soon. I have no idea what we're going into in season 3. What I do imagine is that this portal thing is going to open back up. Go figure. And we're probably going to see more demi-dudes because we've seen them 2 seasons in a row. I think that Jane is going to be a normal person, hopefully. And Joyce and Hopper. I'm campaigning for Joyce and Hopper to be together this season. I would love that. And then maybe Jane and Will are going to be siblings. And Jonathan. I always forget about Jonathan, but it's because I don't like him. So I don't have to remember him. That's just a couple thoughts that I have. I really liked this season, actually. The first season, I was a little up in the air. The second one, I'm kind of hooked. I want to know what happens. Episode 7 obviously was awful. We could have gone without it. We could have just had 8 episodes this season, but they got a filler, I guess, and try and give some people their big breaks, and I imagine it didn't work. Whoops. But yeah, good season, and I hope season 3 is just as good or better. We're gonna find out.